Good morning and welcome into some breaking news on the eve or an hour before NFL free agency gets started. Tee Higgins has requested a trade from the Cincinnati Bengals. Adam Schefter actually breaking that news. Then all the other major agents doing the exact same, or reporters, I should say, doing the exact same thing with the word coming from Higgins' agent, David Mulugheta, that he wants out. Now, the goal today is to help us get to 7.5K subscribers. We just passed the 7,000 mark. Thank you all so much. NFL free agency is about to get wild and wacky. So hit that sub button for more updates all free agency long. Between myself and those here at Chat Sports, we'll have you guys covered as the news happens. But of course, it's kind of all overshadowed by the Adam Schefter news. Bengals franchise wide receiver Tee Higgins has requested a trade per sources. This one coming down just after 10 a.m. Eastern. Higgins loves Cincinnati and hopes to be with the team long term, but is disappointed the team has not had any talks about a long-term contract extension since March 2023. He's ready to move on to a new home. That is telling to me. Now, this is clearly from the Higgins camp, a.k.a. agent David Mulugheta, who also was Jesse Bates' agent. Bates did not request a trade. Jonah Williams did request a trade last year. In the end, both guys played out what we assume for Jonah Williams will be the final year of their seasons with Cincinnati. This is telling. The leak of, he hadn't had any talks about a long-term deal since last March. That's actually kind of confusing. That things did not progress very well, and also might contradict some other reporting that happened previously, that the Bengals, I think what happened here is Mulugheta and his camp and Higgins' camp had this number in mind. Higgins' camp had this number, or the Bengals had this number in mind for Higgins. Pretty big gap. They didn't see much benefit to trying to work out a long-term deal. I think there were issues over the guaranteed structure of the contract, which has always been a problem for Cincinnati. And I think this is further evidence, by the way, of the theory that it was not the Bengals who leaked that Higgins was going to be tagged. It was Mulugheta's camp that leaked that in an effort to try to drive up some trade interest for Higgins. It's very clear to me. Higgins, a.k.a. Mulugheta, his agent, wants to get paid now. Ideally with the Bengals. But if it's not going to be Cincinnati, he doesn't want to wait around in what is not a good free agency market, by the way. A lot more on this to come, but will the Bengals trade Tee Higgins? Y for yes, N for no. Go ahead and sound off for me at the pinned comment of today's video. The ad comes here on YouTube. Take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. Y for yes, N for no. Now, the wide receiver contract market continues to go up, and this is going to have a reset in the next, 5-ish months, somewhere in that range, maybe give or take a little bit there. Justin Jefferson is going to get paid. CeeDee Lamb is going to get paid. Michael Pittman wants a long-term deal. And you're looking at potentially a big deal for Brandon Ayuk. Now, those guys might not all get $30 million. I would bet they're going to be top 5 highest paid receivers. I would bet they're going to command $25 million. And when the franchise tag for Tee Higgins is 22-ish, plus the franchise tag next year, that kind of sets the baseline, for what the agent is going to be asking for guaranteed-wise the next 2 years, which I think is an issue for Cincinnati, and what the average per year is going to look like. Higgins, if he were to hit the open market in a very bad free agency class at wide receiver, it's a good draft class, though, I think he could have commanded $25 million, honestly. I think a team like Tennessee, Carolina, etc. could have gotten involved in a hypothetical bidding war for Tee Higgins. The production did dip this past year. And I think maybe to a certain extent the Bengals are a little bit right here. They are justified in having some concerns about Tee Higgins' ability to stay healthy. He missed several games this year. He missed some games the previous 2 years. And that doesn't include the games where he starts and then kind of gets banged up and leaves for a quarter, a half, misses the back half of the game, whatever. But he is a very impressive, talented wide receiver who, if he's not a true 1, he's a 1B. And there is a market for those types of players. A lot more on this to come, but today's show is made possible by PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks is daily fantasy made easy. Now, obviously, there's nothing else in the way of the NFL to do for quite a while, but there is NBA, there's NHL, there's college basketball, another way to play some March Madness, if you will, and there's even PGA Tour as well. I've had some success of late with the PGA Tour. Scotty Scheffler is always a good pick. He fixed his putter. Look out. I'm going more than 4.5 birdies for Scotty Scheffler Thursday at the Players' Championship at a TPC Sawgrass. Less than Matthew Fitzpatrick, 4 birdies. He missed the cut at Bay Hill. Shane Lowry, more than 4 birdies. He's been playing some good golf. And Justin Thomas closed pretty well on Sunday at Bay Hill as well. So I'll go more than 4.5 on that figure too. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Link will be in the comment section and the description of today's show. That's prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS. All right, more here on Tee Higgins and the Bengals. Some possible destinations. I'm still unconvinced the Bengals would end up trading away Tee Higgins. I think they might try to play some hardball here and let him hold out for a little bit, then bring him in. If they do trade him, this would probably go down quickly, so the Bengals can use the extra salary cap space as they see fit. So I'm just looking at the highest cap space available, right? Patriots, be a big upgrade over Devontae Parker, and then would be able to use the number 3 overall pick on a quarterback, and that rebuild kind of increases quickly. The Titans, obviously Brian Callahan's there. I know many Titans fans have interest on that front. And then the Texans, Bears, Cardinals, Colts, Bengals, Lions. How about a team like the Panthers? Now, the Panthers are in not the best salary cap space. They'd have to get creative. They've only got a couple $1 million. But they could send you pick 33. You get Tee Higgins. They get Tee Higgins. And they have an actual wide receiver 1 that they do not have right now on their roster. Other teams that maybe start to make some sense. I don't know if Detroit would actually do it. He'd be a good fit as the X-receiver with the Lions. And then it's Tee Higgins, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams. It's a really good grouping out in Detroit there. Other teams that maybe make some sense. If Denver wants to get weird with it, move on from Judy and Cortland Sutton. They could go acquire Higgins there. Sauce Gardner has obviously made comments about the Jets going after him, so that's one worth considering. So what draft pick is Tee Higgins worth? Sound off for me in the comment section right now. What pick do you believe Higgins is worth? A couple more notes here on the Higgins status. Look, Jamar Chase is obviously wide receiver 1. We're going to leave Tee Higgins on there for now. I don't think the Bengals would want to have a situation where they're replacing both their wide receiver 2 and their wide receiver 3. But that is something that this organization has to consider now. With Higgins requesting the trade. Again, I don't know if it's going to happen. And I like Andre Yoshivas and I like Charlie Jones. It'd just be a little bit anxiety-inducing for a team that wants to win now. Not to mention, your quarterback said he wanted Tee Higgins back. Joe Burrow got up there and said, I expect Higgins to be back with the Cincinnati Bengals. That's not insignificant. That is a noteworthy thing that has happened in the last, 2 months, 3 months, whatever it was. Time blurs together for me in the offseason. So we'll see about Higgins. I don't think it's a guarantee he gets that trade request. We saw the Bengals deny it for Jonah Williams. We saw Jesse Bates hold out, then show up and have a nice season and get paid by the Falcons. I don't think Higgins wants to wait. I think he wants to get paid now, which I totally get, even though the franchise tag is a good amount of money. So we'll monitor Tee Higgins' situation. TBD if he gets dealt or not. But it has caused traumatic's not the right word, or a dramatic maybe, wrench thrown into the Bengals' plans at the start of NFL free agency.